They say build an app, find investors, do marketing, but no one shows you full path from app idea to actual functioning product with users. Today we'll break down the roadmap for building app, how you go from idea to functioning app to real business. You should already have a solid app idea. If you don't, here I made a video on how to find and validate app idea. Once you have it, what comes next? Let me show you the full system. Here is the file. That's the ultimate app roadmap that you need to follow step by step from app idea to actually have an app that is functioning and has some users on it. The roadmap is not ultimate, so it's not standard for everyone. It might be changing slightly. Plus, I'll be adding some updates as I'll be posting new videos, because I'll be going in detail through every stage in our next YouTube videos, and I'll be updating the roadmap. Now, the core 5 steps would stay. It's idea and validation and VPN investors, build and launch app, growth and optimization, and expansion and maturity. The first block is idea and validation. Let's check it. It has 7 steps in it, The first step, find and validate app idea. We already covered that in our previous videos. It's here on the YouTube. Now, to summarize, let's check the column. First, you find app idea. How you do that? You choose a market. Is there health, wealth, or love? Love/relationship. So every niche, every idea would fall under this category. Pick goals you care about or understand. So within health, it's like get fit, or get wealth, get an investment portfolio, and love, like find partner. Then write down the problems people face while reaching those goals. On the way of getting healthy, you might experience problem with your abs, with your stomach, with your hormones, whatever is that. On the way of building an investment portfolio, you might have to learn how to invest in real estate, or in gold, or in shares, in funds. And on the way of finding a partner, you might need to upgrade your looks. You might learn one of the languages of love. So this would be the obstacles you'd have to overcome. And obviously, you can write down those problems, and then you generate possible solutions. These are app ideas. Then you select a few ideas you feel capable of building. There are criteria that you can evaluate. I will step to the side right now, and I'll show you this small chart, like table from this book. I'm not promoting this, but from this book by Alex Hormozi. I'm not taking the credit. Reason to niche down. Okay, so many people are choosing to solve wide and super complex problem that they are not capable of solving because they do not have enough resources or something. And here is, you see, the reason why you don't have to change time management problem, but why you have to solve, sorry, not to change, but solve, not time management problem, but time management for outbound B2B power tools and gardening sales reps, because they pay more, because then your product will be more specific and better. So you kind of get it. And once you have the app idea, right, you found a niche, problem, solutions, you kind of selected the ones you like, you have to evaluate that idea. You have to make sure that it's not a copycat, it's not a torpid idea. It can be actually built. People are willing to pay for it and are able to pay, an audience exists for this, that it fits your interests. It's a great bonus, it's a plus. If it fits your interests, if you're connected to understand the market, and if it's easy to explain or visually attractive or shareable, okay? Additional comment here, one of the things that I forgot to mention in that video, in the video, and now I'm improving myself, is that make sure your market for your app is growing. There are 4 factors of good market check out by Alex Hormozi. Is market should have pain, they should have purchasing power, they should be easy to target, and the market is growing. This is the point that I forgot, because in his book, Alex was saying, there was a friend of his, and he had everything. He was solving the pain point. Market had purchasing power, and people were easy to target, and everything was great, except for he was selling ads in magazines or newspapers, and the whole market of newspapers was falling down with the rise of internet. So make sure that your market is growing. The next column is that plan how you'll build your app. That's exactly what we're doing in this video. this is the video app roadmap. We are planning how you build your app. Now, you can just take this file. In the description, we'll leave the link where you can get, like, insert your email and get this file for free. And yeah, you take a roadmap that you're looking at, and you have to check also with me whether you need all these steps. Maybe some of the steps you will skip, in your opinion, you will add, or you will delete. Later on, we'll see why. You know, some stages might be changed places. There are stages like jumping forward, MVP, and investor pitch, and then we build a product. What if we do investor pitch before MVP? What if we want to do MVP with investors? That can be changed. The next step, we define the core of our product. I want to step back a little bit. You see this whole first chapter, it's called idea and validation. Okay, many of you might think, hey, I have an idea and I'm sure it's rock solid. I'm not doubting that, but it would be really nice to go through, to check your idea properly at the start, so that you'd be not just like solid, but like super rock solid, and have proof from other sources other than your own confidence. Because your own confidence might be a delusion. It's good to be delusional in business, but you know, that's the mistake that I did with my agency. I would not often test services that I'm offering, the product, the packaging, and I would just go on with this on the market, and I'd have problems. And then I had to take a step back, reverse engineer everything, change everything, do some back-end job. And that would take me so much time to redo the process that I'm thinking, why didn't I do it right from the first time? So this is how you do it right from the first time. You come up with an idea and you check that this idea actually works, right? So here you check that it's not a copycat, that you see market has a pain, purchasing power, easy to target, growing. Next thing, you have to check that your product is actually valuable. For that, you have a value equation. It's also from Alex Hormozy's book. This one, the second time in this video. It's a dream outcome multiplied by perceived likelihood of achievement, divided by time delay, and multiplied by effort and sacrifice. It equals value. Now, here we have some notes. Okay, let's, first of all, I want to maybe read something from this book. And yeah, to explain that to you, what is dream outcome? It's the goal. It's what people want to happen at the end. If we were speaking about investment, like you want to build an investment portfolio, no, you do not want an investment portfolio. You want an annual 10% income, passive income. You want to have extra income for 10 years to buy a house at the end, right? So the dream outcome might be a house. And you can understand what dream outcome is by asking the question, what will I make, or what will I get at the end? Perceived likelihood of achievement is basically concern about risk, or how will I know it's going to happen. So you convince your client, your user, by showing your past cases before and after, by showing reviews from people, by showing, I don't know, your licenses, diplomas, to show that this is not delusional idea that will come to life only in imaginary world. This is like real, and this can happen with 100% likelihood. Well, not 100%, like 95% likelihood, right? It's if you are a surgeon with 10 years of experience, the likelihood of successful surgery would be higher than if you are the first year intern. Okay, that's perceived likelihood of achievement. You have to prove to people that you know what you're doing, and you have to prove to people that the likelihood of achievement is high. So your goal is to increase the top of this equation, to increase the outcome, to get the best outcome you can, and the best perceived likelihood. The bottom of the equation is time delay, so how long it will take me. Your goal is to decrease it, and effort and sacrifice is what is expected of me. Like if my goal is to get abs, I gotta do the job myself, which is hard, which is bad. But doing a liposuction is like, well, I gotta get money, and I do not do a lot of work because like the fat is sucked out of my body, and I don't have to do a lot of reps for that. So that's why liposuction is so popular. Now, big companies right now, here you see I made some notes. Get bottom of the equation as close as possible to zero. Why am I focusing my attention on this? Because there are so many people on the market who increase the top of the equation, but do not decrease the bottom. Decreasing the bottom is much harder, but it's rewarded with better perks. Like, so little people do this, focus on this part in the market, and it's super hard that once you get your bottom to zero, like it's in a perfect world, you are golden. You have infinite source of income. For example, like Amazon was doing that. They turned purchasing something into like a click of a button. If you lived in some medieval age, okay, let's say in the start of 20th century, and you wanted to order some goods from China, guess what you had to do? I don't know even what you had to do. Maybe you needed to go to the local like warehouse or supplier and agree that, well, in the next batch they will add up your order, and like that's so complicated. You didn't even know that those products existed in China, like so complicated. And with Amazon, you can click and like it'll be at your door in a day or so, and they brought time delay to minimum. Okay, and here I have examples for FinTech apps of getting bottom of the equation as close as possible to zero. By the way, when you are dividing stuff like on zero, you get infinity. It's like for nerds. So instant portfolio build, betterment, right? Like once you download the app, you answer a couple of questions and you have portfolio. Instant automated investing, Wealthfront, instant budget and expense tracking, Mint, instant buy now, pay later approval, Klarna, instant global money transfer, Wise, instant spare change investing. It's not instant. There are, cons to it and details, but you see the idea why these apps work so good. Then another thing to consider here is divergent thinking and over convergent thinking. We're going back to the problem solution pairs from this step. First, I'll explain what is divergent and convergent. When we are at school, we are solving math problems, and you have only one right answer to math problem. It's called convergent thinking. Is when you only have one possible solution with one set of tools used, and like you're so limited, you are so on track on like this is what I would need and that's all. And that's why many people who like systematically study at school, they will go on in life and they're like, so I only need to get job that pays me well to like be then promoted and to like maybe get a house, and like you get only one direction of thinking, and that's what is bad for being an entrepreneur and for building application, right? You have so many problems. Let's take the problem of like, I want to buy a house, I want to like invest and so on. There are so many possible solutions to investment applications, like to investment solutions. It's not just a trading app where you can buy stocks. There is Autopilot. They're not trading platform, but they are informational platform that gives you portfolios like ready to copy, and it's AI built, so you can follow basically other good traders on the market. And it's a new solution. It's an example of divergent thinking. Divergent thinking is when you can take a book and use it in 10 different ways, like find a solution for it. Like not just read a book, but you can use it as a shade from light. You didn't see the shade, but you get it, like as a shade from the sun. Or you can cut onions on this book, or you can find different uses to the book, you know. And this is not incorrect. That's what you should be doing. You should be experimenting in this type of scenarios with your solutions. That's the type of important thing. So when you're looking at your dream outcome, time delay, effort to sacrifice, like think how you can improve it in crazy ways. Your methods, ideas might be crazy, but some of them might be good. And then solutions, psychological solutions over logical solutions. Again, as to dream outcome, time delay. Sometimes your solutions to problems are way too logical. If they are logical, it means that people have already tried them, like they already exist. But psychological solutions, example, you need train to go faster, right? To appear faster so that people will travel faster. But it's like costly and so hard. What if you hire models as staff? So people will want to like make those trips longer, and they wouldn't be disappointed by long trips. Or they added to applications where you're traveling, like for your trains and so on applications, they are adding delay time or arrival time, like, because once you know how long you should wait for, the disappointment, the negative emotions connected to waiting are not that painful, if it makes sense. Or if you can see your train in real time or your taxi in real time, it's not that like you see, or they are stuck, or there was, I don't know, the road was closed, so they had to take the other way and now they are late. You can kind of understand the reason. That's psychological solution, because they did not make your taxis come faster to you. They just added new function to the app. That's what they did. Or elevator. Why people are adding mirrors to elevators? Because elevators might take long to arrive to a certain floor, especially if it's like 50 floors or so. Once you have a mirror, you're distracted by your appearance. You might be worried about pimples on your face instead of, oh, how long it takes me. So that's psychological solution. That's example of divergent thinking, by the way. So this value equation, like, make sure that you have the best, like the most increased version of dream outcome and perceived likelihood, and the lowest, like the decreased, close to zero time delay and close to zero effort and sacrifice. Just to check that your idea and solution is actually good. But because if your solution is like dream outcome, perfect likelihood of achievement, minimum time delay, but effort and sacrifice is enormous, your client will be working day and night to achieve that. It's not gonna happen. Your solution is really shitty. Next step is offer. So you are now packaging your product. You have to understand your perfect target avatar. So you have to understand what are his pain points and what are his problems, right? Define his pain points and problems. Difference between pain points and problems is simple. Pain points are emotions and problems are like rational stuff. Investment example. A guy, he's 20 years old, corporate, and he's lost. He wants to buy a house, but he understands that with his salary, he can never afford a house. So it's a pain point. Like, I have no hope in the future. What I gotta do? And his problem is, well, he might understand that he should be building an investment portfolio, but he doesn't know how or where, like zero knowledge, and it's gonna take him a while to do this. And solution would be, we go into solutions to pain points and problems. Solution to pain point would be, we basically give him hope for the future, emotional. That's actually important. You might think that, oh, pain points and emotions, that's sort of shitty, but you have to just understand them to see at what like pain points or emotional points to press on while doing marketing or while promoting to them, while selling to them. Because if you are selling, like in a really stiff, in a dry way, we got this AI leveraged automatic platform ready to copy investment portfolios for you. And if this guy does not know anything about investment, he might think that you're crazy and like, how are you going to solve my life? But if you're saying, hey, I have a way for you to get your like dream house, it's a simple way. You communicate with this emotional part, with these pain points, with this packaging. you communicate your complex, sophisticated idea of a product in a simple way. And that's the top mastery, when you can communicate something really complicated in a simple way. All right, so we understand who is our person. We can define pain points and problems, solutions to pain point and problem. Solution to pain point, we give him hope. Solution to problem, we give him this autopilot app, ready to copy investment portfolio that are based on AI. And solutions can be, that's also from Alex's book, do it yourself, do it with you, do it for you, one-on-one, one-to-group solution, one-to-many, supporting consumption, format, speed, and convenience. And I want to show you here example, like select core solutions. I want to show you, like, there is a side note here. You see this huge table. That's actually like the personal thing that I didn't want to share with you, but whatever. I did this for my agency. So here you see, here you see problems that you've might have had or might have in the future on the way of building an app, and we are on a way of solving all of them with our videos one by one. So that's what I did for my target avatar. I have a target avatar that's like perfect founder of FinTech application, and I wrote down at what stage, what pain point and what problem you would have, and what are the possible solutions that I can provide to solve this. Okay, and you see, I'm scared. I started with, I'm scared my ideas are stupid or useless. Like you do not know how to evaluate if an idea or has real demand or monetary potential. How I can solve this in a short video, in PDF checklist, and mini workshop. Then, like, you see how many problems and pain points are there. Like, I'm not sure if my audience actually pays for solutions. They do not know how to check if people spend money on similar tools, coaching, or services. Tutorial: how to check real spending patterns, research cheat sheet, competitor price map. Like, you see, there are different ways, different solutions. I can make a video and communicate one to many people. I can sell consultations to solve this problem. I can write a book and send this to many people. I can build a tool like a calculator or something and show it to you. I can build an Excel table or something. So there are many options of solutions to these problems. Okay, and you can check it out. Like, it's interesting thing. And if you build it for your target avatar, you'll be able to, later on we'll talk about bonuses. So you'll be able to package your product so well that you will solve so many problems with your product for your user that he'll be stupid saying no to your offer. He'd feel stupid saying no to your offer because they'll be getting so much value for so little money they're paying. Like Netflix, that's what they do. Like, I mean, you are paying basically nothing. You are paying a couple of bucks for access to enormous platform, like not streaming platform, but enormous database of movies and series from different countries and different languages. That's, I don't know, value to price is enormous, the ratio. And that's what you want to do. That's why you need pain points, and that's why you need a lot of problems and ideas for solutions. And later on, you'll be able to make also lead magnets. We'll talk about that. Lead magnets is basically a small solution that you can give out for free to many people. That's why people write books. That's why this, like Alex Hormozi wrote books, because this way he's actually giving value and people are getting from it, and people learn that this guy can communicate simple, complex things in a simple way. He can help, he knows what he's talking about, and if I go on a coaching session with him, I'll get even more value, you know? So it's like lead magnets are like free samples at a supermarket that you get. If you want to buy this cheese and you're not sure, you test it out and then you're hooked. Once you tried it, you kind of want more. So that's why you need pain points, problem solutions, and like building a table like this for yourself is nice, even with AI. Like, I mean, I hate it. Like, I don't hate AI, but I don't like AI because it might be too generic and basic. But if you, you can do this with AI. That's a lot of work here. So offer. You understand your target avatar, his pain points, problems, solutions. You can write down a lot of solutions. You select core solutions. Core solutions is like those that you can do, like realistic. Define what it's worth, value over price, name the offer through magic formula. Magic is, you see, that's also from Alex's book. I guess it's the last, quote from his book. Make a magnetic reason, announce the avatar, give them a goal, indicate the time interval, and complete with container word. I'm sorry for the sounds. And I want to read some examples for you. And examples here are 6-pack fast track, 5-day bootprint sprint, marriage thrive deep dive, 12-week 2-pot shortcut, 12 months no debt reset, celebrity bot shortcut. That's a funny one. That's a bit of a joke. Get some ass masterclass, and so on. So these ideas were kind of funny and rhyming ideas from the book, but basically you don't have to include all of components. You don't have to have all of them. If you have magnet, avatar, goal, and container, it's okay. Magnetic reason why, like to get a house, not a house, it's a long task. How we can promote some tool for building investment portfolio. Okay, let's promote some investment course, right? And you learn how to trade. So the dream outcome of trading can be getting your first $10,000, like get first 10K for corporate interns. Give them a goal. Well, that was a goal. Indicate a time interval in 3 months, and container word would be course. Okay, all these words that I just told you, I already forgot them and they are not that rhyming. So you have to kind of write down different options for magnet, avatar, goal, interval, and container, and do different combinations with them. There is endless combinations, and you can change them places to make them sound better. You can make them shorter to remember, and also it's important to update name of your offer often, because people get bored. Your ads get weaker over time. Next thing, add bonuses to your offer. You have already good core features that you define, but some of the features in the application would be additional, okay? Or you might add also lead magnets. That's the thing that I talked about previously. Lead magnets, small pieces of value that you give out for free or for a really small price that would attract people. I have an example from the previous video. I did a good lead magnet. Here it comes. Let's open our website. It's TOO.BADASS. Well, we have long IP, TOO.BADASS Premium website. And you see on the top of our website, we have this grab FinTech apps common branding mistakes file before May 10. It's a lead magnet. It has urgency, scarcity, and it's like free material for FinTech founders. And you see that's like the title, the thing that you're getting. You will understand your brand. You will analyze brand identity, your website, your UI, also app retention, and you get it by adding your email. And cool, I'm promoting my lead magnet. It's so great. And grab it now. It's always not clicking. It's not clocking. My own website, it's so embarrassing. Yeah, check your email. So basically that's what I'm doing with the lead magnet, and you'll have to check your email and get the file, the like FigJam file like this, where I analyzed FinTech application, okay, so that you can do it yourself. You can see what are the most popular mistakes that applications in FinTech do. And that's a lead magnet. That's how I solved the problem, like for those founders who have an app and they're like, well, how can I improve retention? How can I improve marketing or sales? Like, what are the problems and how can I make onboarding shorter and so on? That's how I provide small solution to many people with bonus. And why need bonuses? If your client does not want to buy your product, like he does not seem to see the value that would be higher than the price, instead of lowering the price, like, by the way, competing on price is such a shitty deal. Never compete on price. You can go down as much as to zero, and then what? It's not like it's a game with no winners. But if you, instead of lowering the price, making discounts and so on, you add bonuses to it, especially ones that you created once, like, and you don't have to repeat them again, but you'll just have many bonuses. Once you wrote a book, you don't have to repeat it again. You already have an asset that you can use. That's a bonus. That's awesome. Or you can collaborate with some other partners who have similar target avatar, with similar applications, with similar companies, and together share some pieces of free access and add this as a bonus into your package. It's awesome because people will see your offer as much more valuable. Okay, then guarantees. There are different guarantees to your product, but basically they increase sales because people are afraid of risk. People are afraid that this likelihood of achievement would be too low, that once they buy some training courses from you, they will not get a six-pack. And you can give them a guarantee. You can give them a conditional guarantee. If you do my exercises every day and record this on video and send this to the chat, I guarantee that you get a six-pack in 1 month. Okay, that's a conditional guarantee. Unconditional is you get a result or we return the money. Anti-guarantee is like no refunds because the asset is so valuable. Once the prospect is exposed to it, you cannot reverse it. You know, once you created a course on how to make $1 million in 1 day, it's like some SaaS secret and it really works in imaginary world. Once your client would see that secret, like he cannot unsee that. So you cannot make a guarantee on that. Implied guarantees is when you get paid only if it works performance based. Then you can also name your guarantees in a different way to kind of update them and freshen them up all the time and stack guarantees one on top of another. Conditional and unconditional and implied guarantee. And it's more written in Alex and Moses' books. I don't want to retell all the books and turn it into a video. And essentially, you can make much more money with a guarantee because people are so afraid of risk. You'll have to make refunds, but there were experiments conducted many times that you will grow your sales. Like if you grow your sales 10 times and you get 100 more customers, out of that 100 customers, even if 20% will refund, like even if everything would go really bad and your product will have cracks in it, the refunds would not be 100%, you know, so you'll still make more. I'm not saying to make shitty product and guarantee. It's the worst idea ever. And the last thing for your product to be competitive on the market, it's like to be killing the market, is to have scarcity and urgency, to make it limited and to make it time sensitive, because once it's limited, people want it more because not everyone can have it, and once it's scarce in time, people will act upon it faster. That's why in the lead magnet up here, I have this limit up until May 10, and then it's never available again, because if I do not make this limited in time, you see here, then not as many people will act upon. And I saw the information, the metrics on how people are downloading my free materials, and 20% of downloads happen on the last day. Once I make the final warning that, hey, this is the last day once you can get this free material, and then it's never available again. And literally on that last day, like I think that will happen on May 10, is that people will download it specifically on May 10. And here are types of scarcity, like scarcity of inventory, access, exclusivity, and types of urgency, deadline, price increase, limited bonus, and so on. So this was the step to come up with idea, to define your target audience, to define the pain points, solutions, your core offer that is really valuable, to add bonuses to it, to add guarantees to it, and to add scarcity and urgency. That's what you do in the first step. Then you have a clear understanding of who you're selling to, what you're selling, how your product is good, the strong points, and so on. You have a plan. At least you understand how you work with this. The second step would be MVP and investor preparation. This can be changed places, okay? But in my opinion, why did I position MVP before investor pitch? Because the longer you can create and build your product without any investors, the more not authority, not even power, control you have over your product. Since it's your product, you have a vision of how this would look like, the quality it will have. The longer you postpone this inflow of investors' money, the more shares you have, the more control you have. And why is this good? That's my personal opinion. Because you will be still following your own personal values once you build in the product, not listening to other people, and it's more satisfying. That's my personal reason to put in MVP before investor pitch. I would create a small product to see if it works before the inflow of money. Okay, because then it gets complicated. Then you get much more documents to fill on budgeting, on financials, much more reports, much more pressure, much more limited timing, and everything gets a bit stressful. So MVP. For MVP, I would do initial branding. I need a second. What is branding? Branding is basically a way to connect your solution to with your target avatar. And branding is a deliberate pairing of things to make things work. And you need to package your product somehow. So you would come up with the idea of your product, how to position it. Like recently, I was analyzing Freedom24 app, investment app, and I came up with the idea like, why don't make a logo with a bird flying? That's like freedom, bird flying, because it's an association, and make it black and white, simple for investment, and all these like complex graphs to see on a white background. And I would use like Figma or AI, something like Base 44 or Canva, whatever you prefer, like Clean AI, whatever you want, to come up with initial. If you do not have any budget for MVP, I'm talking right now, you can hire an agency that would do this for you in a couple of days. That's not a big thing. It's just like they will do this on a more professional level, and they'll be a bit more creative or sure in their idea. But if you can come up with an interesting idea that would make your app stand out from other competitors, right, with a name that would be emotional, easy to remember, new, associated with something, or easy to repeat, sound like really cool, that's nice. If you will add colors that would match really well, that would be noticeable. That's packaging. Tiny product mockup MVP, you see, it can be AI simulation with Base 44. There are a lot of AIs that work with UI and products, like there is AI in Figma as well, there is AI in Canva, there is AI that is called Relume. I don't know if they work with applications, they work with websites as well, like obviously, but not with apps. You can check it out. Why I would not use Base 44 for creating the full app? It's not going to be as professional as you want it to be. You won't have a lot of control over your code. You will not have as much control over your user flow. And I don't think that they have a like an option of combining different features in one app, if it makes sense right now. I hope it didn't sound too complicated. So you just generate a couple of screens for your core features and flows only, like something fast and something really cheap. And you would show this branding with a couple of screens to potential users, 10 to 100 potential users, and you'll ask questions like this. Does this solve a problem? Like, do you have this problem? How do you solve this problem now? It's actually important to compare your solution not only to other solutions on the market, but to how, like, not to other apps on the market, but to how people solve this problem in real life. When we had these taxi apps, they're not called taxi apps, by the way. There is more complicated term which I forgot to describe them, because you can use the application as a driver and as a passenger and as a delivery and so on. So let's take Uber, right? Before Uber existed, before they were entering the market, they also had to compare their solution with how people solved their problem in real life, when they would go on the street and wave their hand and they would stop taxi. It's easy to do somewhere in, well, I can't say it's easy to do in New York, but you do have a lot of taxis and you do have a lot of free taxis. The problem would be is that there are a lot of passengers who might also want to hop in with you or instead of you or before you, or these taxis might be occupied. But basically, this is not such a huge problem to catch taxi in a huge city compared to a smaller town where you'd have to go to the train station where there would be a lot of taxis, or to a particular place and that would take you longer or to find a taxi. So this problem, like, was in real life, the solutions were worse other than application, if it makes sense. How do you use or pay for it? Why or why not? What would make it irresistible? What would stop you from using it? Dream outcome, desired speed, or timing, effort willing to spend, features suggested. You see, these are questions, by the way, from value equation. Time, delay, effort, and sacrifice. And then you analyze these results with combining the most popular ones. Next step is investor pitch. First, you decide if investor is needed. All right, and there are different cases you need investor for. You need upfront it when upfront costs are high, so either it's tech, licenses, compliance, marketing, some patents. You need to move fast, you lack skills, need leverage, and you do not need investor, by the way. Sometimes you do not need them when you can build an MVP cheaply, when you can get early revenue quickly, when you want full control and are okay with slower growth. Investors also bring expertise, like not only money, expertise. They can be a mentor for you. They can bring in network, which is super valuable. You might not have skills and money, but if you have connections, you'll make it work. Credibility, or alternative, or consider a partner that adds missing skills, money, product, tech, finance, connections. It can be not an investor, it can be a partner. The second step would be identifying target investor type. So there are friends and family, there are angel investors, there are venture capitals, accelerators, crowdfunding platforms, or strategic investors companies. And much more here. I just highlighted the typical types of investors, and I think we'll bring that, break it down in details in next upcoming series of videos. The third step would be researching investors, like their contacts, their areas of focus, niches, check their history, credibility, whether they've invested in similar companies, with whom they work, to reach out to them and gather then data from MVP tests, like user interest, willingness to pay, feedback stats, data. Yeah, you see what I'm doing here? Yeah, so you prepare your pitch deck materials, like gather data, I made a mistake, so I corrected it. You prepare slides, metrics, roadmap, financials, and supporting materials like demo, how the product works, visual prototype. Then you practice the presentation, negotiations. Maybe you'll be sending out small outreach videos to your investors on LinkedIn, or you'll be monitoring conferences or meetups or something like a Shark Tank. And yeah, we finally reach out, you pitch to them, and you follow up like 3 times, and you try out your luck with 100 reach outs per day, and you'll see where it will take you. The step when you already have funding, when you already have investor would be legal. By the way, you see these lines here, they mean the area of responsibility. So this task could perform the person with business experience, or CEO, the general director, the person who would be responsible for the product, whose product that is, founder. Same here. And then it comes to legal part. So you either get a consultation or you hire someone with law degree, right? Legal compliance. Once you have investor, you need to register a company, you need to secure trademarks, IP address, domain registration, privacy policy and terms of use, data compliance, regulatory checks, or contracts. You obviously need contracts if you have a partner, if you have an investor. That's a lot of documents and a lot of paperwork. So that's where you see this step, legal one. And you see there are different colors from different areas, like UI, UX, dev, founder, legal, marketing, you see. So pay attention to that. The next block is building and launching app. It's interesting part. That's where agency like mine would step in, and development agencies as well. So the first thing is brand identity. That's how we would do. We would do a discovery call. So we as a brand agency would do a discovery call with you. We would hop on a call and learn everything that we can about your product and about your brand and about your business, like what are your goals, the target audience and everything, for an hour or so to understand how we can help you. Then we research the brand strategy, we do visual research, we come up with branding concepts. Branding concepts, it's like we did investment app recently and we called it Stone, and made a mascot as a dinosaur, and your slogan is like your wealth set in stone, your investment set in stone. It means that it's secure. We are teaching them old-fashioned investment. We do a bit of old school approach to investment, not all these crypto scam, fast trading approach, out trade the market, but rather than flow with the market. So you invest and you kind of wait for long-term returns. So you invest like a dinosaur. That's the idea, right? That's the brand concept. That's a great example of creative brand concept. Then we do color system and typography, logo mark, watermark, stickers and graphic assets, masks, illustrations, business cards, presentation templates, email design, brand book. So some of these things, like starting from stickers, graphic assets, mascots, we would like break into 2 parts. The first part we would do before UI and UX, and this part we would do after UI and UX, after we create the product. All right, because obviously you do not need merchandise, business cards before you build an app. I just wrote down all the components of brand identity here so that you would understand what it means, but some of these things are non-essentials that would rather be put after development of the product at the end, so that you do not spend extra time and money working on some business cards. Instead, you'd work on a product, and then once you have a product, you work on the merchandise and business cards to make your product premium. Okay, so that's brand identity. The next would be UI and UX or app design. Again, you need a discovery call. If you're working with a separate UI and UX agency, make sure that they learn about your app. Not everyone, why I'm writing this here, not everyone actually cares about your app or makes it custom. There are some who let you answer a couple of questions, right? They don't have a standard procedure. They don't learn anything about you. They do not give you, like, they do not do proper research of the market. of your competitors, of visuals, of popular practices, right? They do not analyze you enough. They do not spend enough time. You need at least like 4 hours for good research. And they do not give you design concepts, they just give you one option. If they give you one option, it means that they are not creative enough to research different direction for your brand. You can go with minimalism, with brutalism, you can go with, I don't know, some liquid design that Apple does. These are directions of UI and UX design, and they can be totally different. I'm telling you, your app can look in 10 different visual ways, directions. And if agency can provide you only with one direction, you know, like Apple iPhone style of design, that's a bit of limited vision agency. So that's why I'm writing this here. Then you build user flow. It's logic, how user enters the app and what steps does he take to reach the goal. You do wireframes, low fidelity and high fidelity. It means like low and high detailed pictures of where every button on your design would look like. It's like a draft. It's not designed yet. Then you do design, you approve the wireframes, you go to design. Yeah, design basically. If it's SaaS, it's going to be desktop and mobile. If it's app, it's only mobile. It's final design, right? You animate the design, you create a design system. It's like you create all states of the button. There are such states as default, hovered if we're talking about desktop. There is pressed button. There is a button that is disabled. There is loading button. There is button with icon on the left and right. There is primary button, CTA, call to action, and secondary button, and there is button without borders. Like there are so many types of buttons, right, that you need a design system to organize it all. And you need a set of icons, you need a set of inputs, how, if you have input with password, how it would look like if there was an error, how it would look like if you're creating password for the first time and you have requirements for password to have only one letter, uppercase letter at least, one number at least, and one special sign. You know, you need a special input that will explain everything to user to make it simple. And then once you have all the design, it's animated, the prototype is animated, and you have a design system, you go to SRS. It's software requirement specifications. You basically write down a document where you name every screen of your app, and you list all the not clickable and clickable elements that are located on that app, on that page, and you explain this app is clickable, right? So and you write down then all scenarios. Let's say there are 2 types of users in the app, and there is one button that if like user A, let's say it's a viewer, right, clicks on this button, there, let's give you an example of Instagram, right? There is Instagram, and when you make a post, you have menu with 3 dots in the upper right corner of your post, right? And if you are the author of that post, you creator of that post, you click on that menu button and you see options of editing a post, of deleting it, of archiving that, right? But if you are not a creator of that post, I'm not sure, I don't remember that, but you will either not see the 3-dot menu, it's called kebab menu, or you will see that menu, but it would have different functions. Like it would not have, it would not have archive option. You will not be able to delete other users' posts or edit them, obviously. So this is how one same button can be visible for one user to type user A and invisible for other user, or work in a different way. And plus you need to explain where each button would lead to which page if you click on it, right? Or what if you are unauthorized user? You will see that 3 buttons menu, but you will also have a different menu. So that's what SRS does. It basically in written form explains how everything works, all the conditions and scenarios of the app and all clicks for development. And you do the handoff to development. So one way it can be done is you hop on a call with developers, you have your design files, your design system, your SRS files ready, and you go through all the flows one by one with explaining what happens with every button. Most of the functions they will understand automatically, but if your app has some peculiarities, it's better explain them on the call and record that call so that you will not have questions and stay in touch with the development. That's what we do. The next step is sales strategy. So this is the point when you created the app, you already know your core features. You already know how it will function. You already know how it will look. That's why now you can do the sales, okay? And here, it's interesting that after this step, you start sales and you start operation management, and you start app development, right? So this happens around at the same time. That's why they are in the same column. That's the time, basically the timing. We are checking the timeline or the roadmap of creating the app. You go to sales and you define your sales funnels. There are different ways of sales funnels. I'm not a sales specialist, and right now I'm gonna be reviewing development or Q&A, like quality assurance, or sales or marketing. I'm not a sales or marketing specialist. I do know some knowledge in the sphere because of the of being a brand designer, but yeah, address the specialist. And I'll research these areas with specialists later on in the following videos. So define sales funnels, awareness, interest, conversion, right? What do we need? Awareness, interest. Awareness, it can be a real like paid ad on Instagram that will have hook and will have something that would raise people's interest. Then you connect it with ManyChat. That's basically an AI that leads people from your comments, or like you say, comment investment, and we'll give you free access to our, I don't know, 1 month's premium subscription for this investment app, or like get $50 on your investment account. So you have interest, and you direct through that comment. Like people send you the comment in the Instagram, and you automatically send them out a message in Instagram with a link to your platform where they can register and get that through that referral link, $50 or something, right? And this creates a conversion. Or you can create landing pages or different forms to capture leads, define offers, like define your pricing. There are different strategies to pricing. If you have 3 packages, how do you, like, do you want people to buy, you know, there is a trick with this popcorn, small, middle, and large popcorn. If you want people to buy big popcorn more, you set the prices as $3, $5.50, and $5. And obviously, when everyone would want to buy middle popcorn, they will see that, oh, the difference in price is just 50 cents. So why don't I buy this large one? And same can be with the small one or the middle one. Like, you can adjust pricing. That's not the topic of this video. You can add bonuses or urgency. That's actually what we talked about at the start of the video. You can do different outreach or lead generation through email, through newsletters, through social media, through ads, creating a community. You can nurture your leads, drip campaigns, reminders, convert leads, track metrics, conversion, customer acquisition cost. You see, I explained all the terms to you. By the way, when you are becoming a founder and you start doing the business, you have to learn a whole new vocabulary. So make sure that you know a lot of terms. That's just a side note. Once you are on the track, you have to know all the LTV and CAC and so on, and iterate your funnel. So if some of these things do not work, you can try out new tactics, new funnels, multiple funnels, stack them, and iterate over time. Operational management. So basically here, you already hired someone, right? On our website, I'm going back to our website, we made a comparison of when you are hiring, yes, here. When you need to hire for UI and UX, freelancer, big agency, or like us. So that's a salesy part, I'm sorry for that. But basically here, I'm also, like, as a UI designer, I'm sorry for this font. I saw that would look really cute and professional, and it looks hard to read for people with bad eyesight. So basically here I said that if you don't have enough money, you don't have enough time, and you want to just try out MVP, you get hire the freelancer. So freelancer is good for early MVPs, one-off pages, experiments, right? If you want to build, well, there are not many benefits of big companies, but big agencies, because I think that we do as good of a job as big agency. Like we present a small agency, right? TOO.BADASS is a small agency here, because we did work head to head with big companies on the same product, and we kind of delivered same or better results. But basically big agencies, they have different departments already. They have in-house marketing, they have in-house SEO, they have sales, so they will direct you from department to department, and they will build you up on a premium level. We do only graphic design, web design, UI UX design, in short. So we have limitation in terms of departments, but one person does all of those processes, so it's aligned and it's premium, and we do care more about our customers because we're a small agency. So if you need a big agency for your big product, hire big agency, right? Large companies. And we're good for FinTech apps and SaaS founders who want clear premium product and brand, and these are like pros and cons. So basically here for UI UX, you already hired someone. Is it a freelancer, a big company or small company, but you hired someone and you have to manage it, right? And you already hired perhaps someone for sales, or you are managing it yourself. And either way, no matter if you hired someone or not, the processes start to get more complex, because here you were just working on, okay, so is my app cool or not, and how can I make it better? And here you are working a bit more serious. You gotta manage it. So that's why you need to manage the operations. You have to set workflows and SOPs, choose tools that you will use for organizing everything. Like it can start from like this popular ClickUp, or would you do communication in Slack, or yeah, we'll add CRM like Mondays or something. Will we have a calendar? Will we have a team shared with it? Like there are so many. You see, I will not read all of that right now because I don't think it makes sense for me to go through this. I'm not a PM, but you have to find a system for, like, you have to write a plan and find a system to manage all of it. People from sales and people from UI UX. Okay. The next step is development. We did the design, and now we have to review SRS and design files. Like that's basically a handoff. We plan development roadmap, all the sprints and all the milestones. For that, address the professional development agency. I think I'll make a video with developers about it. Set up development environment and tools, backend development, front-end integrations. If you have any payments, if you have any analytics, you know, if you have any AI, you will add these integrations. You will test it and do internal review. You'll publish demo version of the application, not public one, and then you will finalize code and prepare for quality assurance. At the same time, I suggest that you would build a website, because you already have a product and you do not need ready app to build a landing page. So these are basically stages for landing page that we do also at the Brain Agency. Like we do the concept, sitemap, wireframes, design for desktop, tablet, mobile, animations, development, launch, quality assurance. This is similar to UI UX, but only we here also do development and launch and quality assurance. Okay. Website. There are so many details to a simple website. I won't dive into details, but make sure like it's SEO optimized, that it's from the first page you can understand what is the product, what problem does it solve, what is the target audience, some FAQs, reviews, partner logos, before and after results, so that it would be assuring. Like people would trust you and will see these guys are legit, okay, from the landing page, and they would be interested in buying from you. Marketing setup at the same time. So marketing campaigns, content plan, accounting, settings, scripting, recording, editing, design, posting, analysis and integration. So like social media stuff. You already can write. Sales was like this whole strategy planning of how you'll do things, and marketing and social media is more of an execution. When you start publishing materials, connecting your sales funnels, like social media pages to your website, and capturing leads, creating wait list while you are building an app. Because you need this time to take off the plane. It takes a lot of time to build community and audience. You can start maybe this halfway through development, because development might take, in some cases, like half of a year if you have it really complicated. In other cases, it would take a month or a couple of months. So you need a couple of months to start building a website and marketing. Okay. The next step would be quality assurance. Quality assurance of the app. You see functional testing, cross-device, cross-platform testing, UI and UX review, bugs, login and fixes. It can be the same thing, like 1 point, I mean. Regression testing, performance testing, speed, load, security and compliance check, and final QA approval. So I'm not a QA expert, and here you see, as we're going deeper in the timeline, deeper in the roadmap, I start to get more vague and blurry information to you. That's because I have to research that together with you. Okay? And that's because quality assurance now, the information here is generic, because quality assurance for every app is so different. Development for every app is so different. That's why it's better to niche down and review this later when we'll be publishing videos with example of one particular application. Okay. As you're doing quality assurance, you need to do optimization for App Store and for Google Play as well. So you can do iOS and Android applications, and you need to optimize your SEO. You need keywords, metadata, visuals, localization, optimize and update. What else? Next step is launch. Deploy to production, hosting and server settings, onboard first users, push marketing campaigns, monitor metrics and all the retention, collect feedback, and provide support for users. And after that, you go into next chapters. The third chapter is, why is it number 4? No, it's number 4. It's growth and optimization. So at this point, you have app that is developed and that is functioning. You have even some users on it. You see these lines go on because marketing continues, sales continues, operation management continues, even legal would continue, and even updates on UI and UX and development would continue. So all of this process, now you need to manage them even better, because you have to simultaneously check out the bugs, right? The updates in UI and UX, the updates in development level, the marketing, the sales, the marketing lead generation, right? Social media, sales, management, legal issues. So many directions, so many things to handle, so many new terms to learn. And at the same time, you see, I'll review these 4 things together because they're the same. So you now are gathering data. Let's say you have a test period of 1 month, 3 months. You gather data. You gather bugs, feedback from your clients on UX, on UI, on branding, on marketing and social media and sales. All the data, you should track it. Why you should track it and have actual numbers and analytics, you have on YouTube, if you do YouTube, I don't know, you would enter, you have Google Analytics. Everyone has that in their profile. Why? Because without analytics, you are blind. You would be guessing. You'd be like with a turned off light in the room, trying to clean the room, right? When you're blind. Like obviously, when you turn on the light, it's much faster. It's more efficient because you see, oh, here is a problem. That's where milk is spilled. I can see that. And vision, your eyes are your analytics. That's why you need analytics. It's so boring and it's hard and it's long and you have to spend a couple of months doing that. But that's what you do. You gather data. You analyze it. What things are the priority and what things are not. basically it's better to solve problems first rather than lost opportunities. There is a difference. Problem is when something is functioning wrong, something that drives your users away, something that makes them like delete the app, download it, use it for 4 hours and then like hate it, or never return to you, or like not even download it in the first place. There are problems, you will see them. And it's better to solve problems first rather than add more features, add more marketing campaigns and more sales, so sales funnels, because once your product, even if you grow, will be able to grow your product with this problem, right? There, let's say your onboarding is so long and everyone, like half of the people do not go through onboarding because it has like 40 questions and it's hard and boring and confusing, okay? Let's say you keep this long and bad onboarding, but your product is good and you keep losing 50% of your people. Let's say your app will even grow, okay? But the problem will grow with the application. Like this 50% that drops off on onboarding will keep growing and your losses and your actual money will grow. So why don't solve problem first and then add features, then lost opportunities, okay? So yeah, we gather data, we analyze the data, we implement iterations, and then we go through it again, like in 3 months. And you see the points here are similar because you do technical and dev and UX and UI and branding and marketing iterations and performance review. Like this was about application, and performance review is basically review of your business, finance and accounting, legal, KPIs, growth, general direction, strategy. KPIs, this is a thing, KPIs and SOPs I would add. This is for your team. So if you have team hires like someone who works for you, if you have key performance indicators and operational procedure, I forgot the first word, standard operational procedures, then your team would know what is required of them. Like standard operational procedure is the manual. Basically, every day you have to click button A and fill up table B, and then write a report C. And that's how you do it. You provide written SOP and you make a video SOP of how you do it yourself, okay? So that they know how to do work. I will maybe even be able to show you SOP that I have. SOP for brand package. That's a huge file. I will not share the file with you because I spend, like it's a golden file for me. I'll show you how it looks. We have SOP for our brand package. That's basically how we find client, how we onboard client, and how we start working with him, and how we finish working with him, and how we support connection with him. And I have this explained in words and in videos, right? So let's say client reaches out to us, or we find a client and he like texts us, and we're saying like, so this is, if it's a cold client, if it's a warm client, that's what you text them. So if we text this to you, that's where we take it from. And then the video of how I'm texting people, then how we prepare for a call, how we do the call, how we sign contract. You see some places do not have how we transfer money, how we start working, discovery call, a video of discovery call, and then how we do research and a video of research. So that's basically example of SOP, and you see it's like, it's huge. Okay, that's what SOP is. So people need to know from your team what they should do and how they should do it. If this is someone who you hired like an agency, they should have their own internal SOPs. Like make sure that they have procedures. It's not that they do work every time the way they like it. And KPIs is key performance indicators. You have to communicate clearly and show them like these are the metrics that are important to measure, right? How many clients you bring in every month, that's what we measure. And the norm would be 3 clients, and if you go below that, then you are underperforming, and then like you might get fired. So make it that simple for people to understand so that they'd be able to evaluate themselves. That's from videos. I learned this from one of the videos by NVIDIA SEO and by Lila Ramosi. And you check growth and general direction strategy of your company. So this is growth and optimization, and then we go to expansion maturity. That's even more vague and blurred sphere for us right now. But we scale product, we add features, modules, integrations, we expand markets, regions, segments. And you might think that expanding market is so easy. Once I learned about franchising and expanding to new markets, it's crazy. Every new country, every new region is totally new, and they have their own competitors. So it's an interesting topic. Build an ecosystem, raise fundings, investors, brand authority, PR, content strategies, optimize operations, SOP automation, team growth. So here it gets vague and blurry. That's why we went through this like so fast, because I can't go deeper into expanding markets through applications at this point. Okay, but this is how the picture basically looks like. You start with idea, you check if it's okay, you do an MVP, minimum viable product, for your core feature, not secondary, but core feature. Make it simple. You communicate it well to people who will have money to build your app, will help you, will have connections, money and skills. Then you start building app, you do brand identity, you do design, you do development together with web design, marketing, sales, operational management, quality assurance. You launch your app, and then you iterate and improve your application and your operations inside of the company. So that's how I see the timeline of building app from idea to the company level. You can grab the file again in the description. You'll enter your email and I'll send this file for free to you. This will help you understand what to do. Maybe you skipped some of the steps on your way right now. Maybe you don't know what to do next. Maybe you do not know enough practices. Each of these points can be researched even deeper, and you can dig as deep as you want, but we have a limit of making this video not too long and still interesting to you. So I hope it helped. I hope that you will, if you have questions, leave them in comments. And if you have more comments also and ideas and anything impressed you in this video, leave a comment. That would help our metrics and everything, our stats on YouTube, and that will build a big community. And I have an idea of building a community of founders of applications, and we'll create a chat where we'll be able to help each other, okay? Where you'll be able to share the problems and solutions and experiences that you had, the programs that you're using, and that would be really helpful, not as lonely, to build together, right? So that's the idea I have in long term. And if you're interested in this topic, like, leave a comment and find like-minded people. I know that the views are low right now on videos and we have a small community, but I believe in growing it, and in a couple of months we'll see how many people would be there, and maybe we'll make a Zoom call. Now this map would be updated again after I finish creating videos about every step here. Changes are expected, but the core is set. You already know how to find and validate app idea, how to build a roadmap for your app, and in the next video we'll learn how to understand how your app/SaaS works. And subscribe not to miss any new videos for FinTech founders of apps and SaaS that would be useful. Bye bye!